Quality of life of millennial with polycystic ovarian syndrome from the College of Nursing and Allied Health Sciences main campus researchers. I am Forlan B. Minyosa.
I am Maricari Bucas.
I am Catherine Bundaco.
Rowella Vidulasan.
Tin Macario Husol.
And we are the Group 6 from Block E.
For the background of the study, the term millennial generally refers to the generation of people born between the early 1980s and 1990s. This generation is also known as Generation Y. Quality of life is a standardized living of an individual. It is the degree which an individual is healthy, comfortable, and able to participate in activities and enjoy life to the fullest. One of the most common health problems that affected the life of millennial, focusing on women, is polycystic ovarian syndrome, or PCOS. This syndrome is categorized as an endocrine disorder that primarily affects the ovaries. In the latest survey, it has been the topmost endocrine disorder across the globe that affects most women during the childbearing age or the millennial generation. In the Pitan City, there are several women diagnosed of polycystic ovarian syndrome as data collected by the researchers. Polycystic ovarian syndrome negatively impacted the quality of life, with the psychological implication of PCOS was being underestimated and largely ignored. The researchers had assessed the quality of life of the millennial diagnosed of polycystic ovarian syndrome within the city, and had made interventions and nursing care plans to all respondents, especially to the ones that are suffering and greatly affected of the disorder that felt envious to other women and are afraid of not being able to bear a child. The statement of the problem. This study determined the quality of life of millennial with polycystic ovarian syndrome in the Pitan City in the year of 2022. Specifically, it answered the following questions. Number 1. What is the profile of the respondents in terms of marital status and children? Number 2. What is the quality of life of millennial in terms of impact of PCOS, infertility, hirsutism, and mood? Number 3. Is there a significant difference in the quality of life of millennial with PCOS when data are analyzed in terms of profile?
Data and methods. The researchers used purposive sampling in selecting the 34 millennial women due to the criterion required of the study. The questionnaire was distributed through online survey due to the risk of the pandemic. The researchers had used an adopted PCOS questionnaire from the Polycystic Ovarian Syndrome Quality of Life Scale, Development and Preliminary Validation by William, Sheffield, Neve, and Rebecca. Results. Problem number 1. What is the profile of the respondents in terms of marital status, children? This part presents the frequency count and percentage distribution of the respondents' profile among polycystic ovarian syndrome residents of the city of Dapitan. As shown in the data, the majority of them are married, accounting for 43.8% of the whole population, while approximately 25% are single and the majority have no children, accounting 65.6% of the total population. This suggests that the majority of PCOS patients are married couples with no children.
Results. Problem number 2. What is the quality of life of millennials in terms of impact of PCOS, infertility, hirsutism, mood? The respondents' rating on the quality of life of millennials in terms of the impact of PCOS in the city of Dapitan. As indicated in the table, the weighted mean value ranges from 2.38 to 3.19, with respondents rating disagree and agree as their responses. Respondents gave the highest rating to the statement being envious of women without PCOS. The respondents' rating on the quality of life of millennials in terms of infertility among PCOS respondents in the city of Dapitan. As shown in the table, the computed weighted mean value ranges from 2.88 to 3.41, which corresponds to the respondents' agree to strongly agree. Ratings afraid you won't be able to have children, says the statement, was recognized as having the highest weighted mean value among PCOS responders. Results. The respondents' rating on the quality of life of millennials in terms of hirsutism among PICOS participants in the city of Dapitan. As shown in the table, the computed weighted mean value ranges from 2.28 to 2.53, which the PICOS respondents characterize as disagree to agree scores. As can be seen from the table, the majority of them stated that they are concerned about other people seeing their facial hair and that removing extra hair takes a lot of time and effort. The respondents' rating on the quality of life of millennials in terms of mood among PICOS participants of the city of Dapitan. As shown in the table, the computed weighted mean value ranges from 2.28 to 3.13, all of which are described by the respondents as agree ratings. In this study, mood refers to the emotional response of women diagnosed with PCOS, which can range from calm to fear to wrath to delight, depending on the situation. Felt like sobbing for no apparent reason.
Number 3. Is there a significant difference in the quality of life of millennial with PCOS when data are analyzed in terms of profile? When data is assessed in terms of their profile, Table 6 shows the test of significant difference in the quality of life of millennials with PCOS. When the data was subjected to a non-parametric Roscal Wallace-H test, all of the H test values, as well as the PCOS respondents' marital status and the number of offspring, yielded a p-value greater than the level of significance alpha 0.05. As a result, the null hypothesis is not rejected. As a result, the data did not give adequate evidence to establish that the respondent's profile, marital status, and the number of children did not reveal any significant differences when compared to the millennials' quality of life indicator. Researchers have concluded that the profile of the respondents in terms of marital status, or majority of them are married, especially considering that they are in the millennial stage, and most of them were not able to have children and not able to conceive a child. Moreover, the researchers have found out that the impact of PCOS have greatly affected the psychological aspect, especially that they get induced to men without PCOS. Women with PCOS were afraid if they would not be able to get pregnant due to the cysts that accompany to the ovary or ovaries of the patient that can obstruct the capability to conceive a child. Some women were greatly affected of hirsutism, where most of them are very concerned about people seeing their facial hair, and it took a lot of time and energy in removing the excess hair. And lastly, they have this feeling that they felt like sobbing for no reason, where it greatly contributed to the change of the mood of the respondents. Hence, we therefore conclude that the null hypothesis of this study is not rejected, due to the reason that the data collected could not be able to provide adequate evidence to establish that the respondent's profile, including the marital status, did not reveal any significant data.
Recommendations. The researchers recommend that the millennial women diagnosed with PCOS should attend counseling from any medical practitioner for therapeutic care management and should seek for dermatologists or any specialist for treatment and removal of the excess hair. The researchers recommend that another study should be conducted for assessment and relevant intervention to the millennial women diagnosed of PCOS in Dapitan City, focusing in physical changes and mental challenges. The researchers recommend that the City Health Office of Dapitan City should conduct a study and intervention in regards to the increasing number of women with PCOS. The researchers recommend that the Generation Z women diagnosed of PCOS should seek treatment as soon as possible to prevent complication and surgical removal of ovaries. The researchers recommend that another study should be conducted of women with PCOS but with different indicators such as BMI, age, and lifestyle, or should focus on the millennials' quality of life but with different syndrome or disease affecting the achievement of quality of life. The researchers recommend that another study should be conducted focusing on Generation Z of women with PCOS living within the city of Dapitan or widen its scope of place and respondents, international or national scope of the study.